Imagine you're in a sea of people. The lights go out. Everyone goes silent. Then suddenly, the sound explodes. It's not just a concert. It's not just a comeback. It's a moment that changed global music history. After years of absence, many thought they were done. But the opposite happened. They came back bigger, stronger, and crazier than ever, and tonight, at Goyang Stadium, it all begins. This is the story of how BTS not only returned, but took over the world once again. And most shockingly, this is just the beginning. That night, Goyang Stadium stood majestically in the darkness. From the air, the stadium looked like a sleeping giant. But slowly, small lights began to appear. Thousands of purple lightsticks lit up one by one, like stars descending to earth. Outside the stadium, a long line of people snaked through the air. Faces filled with anticipation, some clutching tickets like a dream finally come true. Some came from other countries, others had waited years for this moment. In the entertainment world, there's an unwritten law: all great things fade in time. Popularity comes and goes. Big names change over time. But tonight felt different. This wasn't just a concert. This wasn't just a comeback. This was a testament to the success of the group. When the lights truly dimmed and the crowd's voices turned into a roar, one thing became clear: this wasn't the end of the story. This was the beginning of a new chapter. And amidst it all, one name shook the world once again: BTS. For years is a long time in the music industry. Long enough to change trends, long enough to give birth to new stars, and long enough to make the world forget who once reigned supreme. During that time, BTS carried out obligations that couldn't be postponed. No world tours, no grand stages, only memories lingered in the minds of fans. But interestingly, the silence was never truly empty. Across the globe, ARMY remained. They played old songs, rewatched concerts, and kept the flame burning. For them, this wasn't just waiting, it was a form of faith. Many doubted: would BTS still be relevant? Would the world still care? But those questions slowly morphed into something bigger: what if they came back stronger? Because in the history of music, not every comeback is successful. But some become legends, and the world began to sense that what was coming wasn't just the return of an old group, this was a renaissance. Everything changed in a single moment. Without much warning, the announcement came and shook the world. BTS World Tour, ARIRANG. Within seconds, social media exploded. Timelines were filled with reactions. Ticketing servers were overwhelmed. Millions of people were vying for a chance to be part of history. It didn't take long for the numbers to start talking. Dozens of concerts sold out instantly. City after city turned into hotspots of euphoria. These weren't just sales figures. They were proof that the connection between BTS and their fans had never truly been broken. Even after a long hiatus, the enthusiasm felt even greater. Wilder. More emotional. Some fans cried just to get tickets. Others had to accept the fact that they were seconds too late. But one thing is for sure: the world is ready. And this time, the expectations are not just high, but almost unimaginable. Behind the flashing lights and the cheers of the crowd, there's a much quieter reality. The practice room. The sweat. The endless repetition. For BTS, returning to the stage isn't just about performing again. It's about proving they still deserve to be at the top. Kim Namjoon stands in the middle of the practice room, microphone in hand, trying to rediscover the rhythm that once so familiar. He knows the stage will leave no room for error. Young Ho-suk, on the other hand, calls this tour a celebration. But behind his smile, there's a discipline that's invisible to the cameras. And Kim Tae-young? He's practicing harder than ever. As if to ensure that not a single moment feels half-hearted. Because they know this comeback isn't just theirs. It belongs to the millions of people waiting. For the ARIRANG Tour, one thing was clear from the start: they didn't want to repeat what had already been done. They wanted to create something new. The 360-degree stage concept was at the heart of this revolution. There were no longer front rows or best seats. Every corner became the center. Every audience member had their own perspective. Technically, this was a nightmare for the production team. Coordination had to be perfect. Movements had to be precise. Every camera, every light, every step had to be in sync, but beneath that complexity lay a simple philosophy of closeness. BTS wanted to ensure that no army felt distant. That everyone in the stadium felt the same connection. And when this concept finally came to life, the result was not only spectacular but also intimate. A paradox rarely seen on a stage of this magnitude. Opening night finally arrived. The air felt different. Heavier. More expectant. As the lights began to dim, the crowd's voices transformed into a wave of inexplicable energy. Heartbeats seemed to sync with a rhythm yet unheard. Then there was total darkness. A few seconds that felt like an eternity, and then they appeared. Cheers exploded. Light swept across the stadium. The music hit like the first wave of a storm. BTS didn't just perform, they completely took over the stage. Every movement, every note, every expression felt alive. There was no distance between the artists and the audience. There was only a relentless flow of energy. That night wasn't just a tour opening. It was the moment all the anticipation paid off. From one stadium in Korea, the journey expanded into something much bigger. The world map turned into a tour path, lit up one by one. In America, giant stadiums like AT&T Stadium and Stanford Stadium bore witness. In Latin America, the energy of the crowd at Estadio El Campín created a different atmosphere, wilder, more emotional. Each city brought its own story. Each stage presented a different color. But one thing remained constant: the incredible response from the fans. BTS was no longer just performing for one country or one culture. They had transcended those boundaries. They had become a global phenomenon. Behind all these achievements, there was one element that never changed: ARMY. They came from diverse backgrounds. Different languages, different cultures, different life stories. But inside the stadium, all those differences disappeared. All that remained was one voice. One song. One feeling. For many, this concert wasn't just entertainment. It was an escape. This is a place where they feel understood. BTS and ARMY have a connection that is hard to explain with logic. It's not just artist and fan. It's an emotional connection built over years. And with every song they sing together, that connection feels more real. BTS's journey wasn't something that happened overnight. It's the result of years of hard work, failure, and the courage to keep moving forward. From small stages to the world's largest stadiums, they've gone through every phase an artist can possibly experience. But what sets them apart isn't just their accomplishments, but the impact they've left. They changed the way the world views K-pop. They opened doors for a new generation, and now, with their ARIRANG Tour, they're not just returning, they're solidifying their position as global icons. Legacy isn't about how big you are now. It's about how long your influence will last. As the night ended and the lights slowly dimmed, the stadium fell silent again. But this time, the silence felt different. It wasn't empty. It was full. Filled with memories, emotions, and unforgettable moments. Some might say it was just a concert. That it was just entertainment. But for those in attendance, it was so much more. This is an experience. This is history. And in the midst of it all, BTS has once again proven that they are not just a part of the music industry. They are part of something bigger. Something that will be remembered forever. What we just saw was more than just a concert tour. This was a new standard. A testament to how music can unite millions of people from all over the world in one moment. From one night at Goyang Stadium to dozens of cities around the world, BTS has once again proven that they are not just following history, they created it. Now the question is for you. If you could be on the ARIRANG Tour, which city would you choose, and do you think this will be the biggest tour of all time? Leave your answer in the comments. And if you want to see behind-the-scenes stories, hidden facts, and the full journey of this tour, subscribe now. Because this story isn't over yet.